How's it going, everyone? Skoot Illithid here, and today I'm going to be talking about when attacks miss. Now, it kind of takes the immersion factor out of your game when you have, say, a level 5 fighter go up and run and try to swing at a kobold, and it completely misses. Kobold is way weaker than the fighter. The fighter has a fantastic chance to hit him. He's within 5 spaces. He goes to swing his axe and depending on his dice, he completely misses. Realistically, that fighter would have probably hit that kobold, but now you're going to have to explain to your players why he missed. Especially if a couple of players run up to the same enemy and they all miss. Because that can possibly happen, just because it's dependent on a dice roll. Now, how do you explain this to your players to bring a realistic factor of why all of you just missed this really weak-looking kobold that none of them could hit? And it bothers me when I just tell my players, well, you swung at the kobold and you miss him. And they're just sitting back like, how can I have missed this kobold? Well, I'm going to talk to you guys about some tips of what I use to implement reasons why they might have missed the attack. And vice versa, why the creatures may have missed the attack on the players as well. Instead of just saying, well, they missed when they really should have realistically hit in this situation. So all these topics that I'm going to be talking about are going to be used for creatures and players. You can use them vice versa. So the first thing is being surprised. I'll say a party runs into the room and they swing at the kobold. They knock him almost prone and the kobold goes to swing and attack and the kobold completely misses. So you might be asking, why would the kobold miss? Because he was surprised of the players that ran in there. The players run into the room, and the kobolds have been waiting for them because they heard them outside the door. Now, the kobolds are going to get first initiative on the attack because the players are surprised, and then it's the players' turn, and they swing and they completely miss, even though realistically they should have hit them. But in the sense, you could say that they ran into a new room, a new environment, and they were surprised and they were overwhelmed at the amount of kobolds that they initially thought were in there. Aside from what is actually in there, so that made them completely miss and not be able to focus on the kobold at hand because they were glancing around the room and they see all these other creatures that they weren't prepared for. So instead of having the fighter completely missed, you could say you were overwhelmed by all of the things that were in this room, which causes you to kind of slip your concentration for that last second when you bring down your axe. Another thing that you could use is both either the player or the creature are getting attacked. The fighter runs up and rolls a natural 20 on one of the kobolds, and he completely slices in half like butter. Now, the other kobolds try to attack, and all of them completely miss. Possibly in this situation should have hit realistically, but you could say, with just seeing their friend, this other kobold, get completely slashed in half, completely disrupted them attacking the players and threw them off. Watching this kobold get, directly, slashed in half. Now, you could say that for the players as well. Now, maybe one of the bugbears runs up and slams the paladin directly in the chest and slams him against the wall. Now, the other players have witnessed this and they see it out of their peripheral vision. And then they go to swing and attack at a bugbear that they were initially charging at, and they completely miss. Was because you can use that encounter from him getting slammed against the wall for the reason why this fighter over here might have missed to swing against the bugbear. Instead of saying, well, you swing and you miss. There are also environmental things that you could do. Either there is a deep growling coming in within the catacombs, or maybe a trap went off, a pit trap went off and one of the players fell in, or maybe the ceiling caved in a certain area. You can also use the environment to persuade why your characters would be, maybe their concentration got thrown off from the attack, or maybe it grabs their attention for that last second as they were trying to release an arrow from their bow or load a crossbow bolt inside their weapon. Maybe when they enter a room and there's enemies, they can see past over the enemies that green light that's emanating that they have been looking for this whole time. So there's a lot of different factors from creatures and players that you can put in there to not just say well, you missed this attack, next person's turn. You can put in factors of why the players may have missed their attack. I know this was kind of a weird subject, but it's just a pet peeve for me when you have this really strong fighter and he tries to attack this kobold and the fighter completely misses. I like to add in a different dynamic and tell my players why their player might have missed this attack. So that's all there is for me, you guys, for today. I got a lot of stuff going on. I'll probably record some stuff running around town today. So I got a session later tonight I'm going to go to, so that's going to be fantastic. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are, and I will see you guys later.